my calculations are correct, when this baby hits 88 miles per hour, we're going to see some serious shit.
Man, I love that song, and I love that freaking intro. What is up, everyone? How's it going? And welcome back to another episode of Take Me Back Tuesday. I'm doing things a little bit different around here, and if you're new, then you'll have no idea. But again, my name is Matt, and welcome to the channel. But new year, new way of doing things. I usually do these episodes on a live stream so I can interact with people, but I just kind of wanted to do this differently. Give it a chance to try something different and see how it does. I mean, I really haven't been doing much for the channel, honestly, to begin with, because I've been so busy. So this is now the time. It's not going to hurt anything. But hopefully, if you're here, thanks for stopping by and checking this out, because I need these podcasts. I need to talk about these things. And hopefully, if you're in the same boat as I am, you'll appreciate this too, because, man, 2025 so far has been absolutely insane. It's 1 month in, and we have had one hell of a January. All the craziness that's going on in the world is overwhelming. The craziness of New Year's Eve, we still don't really know why that happened. The New Year's Day bombing, we got airplanes falling out of the sky. Trump's trying to buy Canada and Mexico, the deportation. Like, it's like one thing after another. The UFOs that are everywhere, but then we find out that they are drones, and that's okay, and we don't want to know why they were there in Jersey freaking everybody out. And like, it's so much. There's just so much going on. And this podcast is specifically for just a form of escapism, right? That's why I love things like what we're going to talk about today, but stuff from my past, right? Old comics, old books from back in the day. Remember this at the book fair that you would find, right? I mean, I know I'm a giant kid, but it's not only just that. I mean, even just normal movies and from the 80s and 90s and stuff, or just any form of escapism whatsoever. Just even normal books, self-help books, just to shut your brain off from the insanity of what's going on and recharge your batteries, because it's draining. If you focus on the world, which you have to, it's draining. Now, I know a lot of people that are like, will just completely like, nope, I don't want to know what's going on. I don't care. I want to live in my own little bubble. And personally, you can't do that. The world is the way it is today because we have done that for a very long time. People just, I don't want to know. I don't care, right? And they don't think about it. And then you wake up one day and you're like, oh my God, eggs are $15 a carton. Why? Oh my God, like there's no jobs, or Indians are taking all of our jobs. You know, like it's just craziness like that. You have to be aware of what's going on. You can't trust the people that are in charge, no matter what side of the aisle, and just go, oh, they'll take care of it, because they've all ran it into the ground, right? It's basically like a car with the motor on, the pedal pegged to the floor, and no one's behind the wheel. And this is why we are in the situation we're in today. So, but like I said, it takes a toll on you. So you got to have a form of escapism. And hopefully, this podcast can help in some form take us all back to a better day, right? Because I know nothing's ever perfect, especially in the past, but I got to admit, man, back in the 90s and 2000s and, you know, growing up in the 80s and mid 90s and stuff, dude, it was awesome. I'm not going to lie, man. I was a kid. I loved it. And if I can go back in time like that intro has, I would absolutely go back and revisit it, because I don't think a lot of us knew how good it was until it was gone. I'm sure people way older than me say the same things about, you know, growing up in the 70s and 60s and everything else. So hopefully I can help bring back some forgotten memories, which is definitely some things that I'm going to mention in this podcast today. But it's not even just the world politics stuff that you need a form of escapism from. Everyday life, just everyday shit that's going on. Like if you work an office 9 to 5, and if you drive a forklift in a warehouse or whatever job it is that you do, or just life in general, there's shit that drains you. Family drama, life drama. That it's you just want to go back to when it was simple, you know, and you didn't have a HR, you know, making your life hell. Going into your hamster cube and your open office plan, and drinking from your little water bowl and being timed when you take lunches, and the morning commutes and the at home commutes and all that stuff, right? All that soul sucking that we have to embark on every single day. Enjoy the office culture of getting on virtual calls, but you got to be in the office. You got to be there, because if not, But when you're there, you have to sit at your cube, your open cube, mind you, not even high wall, short wall, so they can watch you, and you better sit in silence, because if you're loud, oh well, you got another thing coming. But everyone just gets on virtual calls or they talk stupid nonsense. I'll not to get too off topic here, but what has destroyed jobs, especially in like an office environment? And I've worked all kinds of jobs. I've worked physical jobs, physical labor, been in the Marine Corps, worked law enforcement. Now I work in like the office space. Great movie. God, that movie still holds true to this day so much. It's sad. HR has ruined it. And HR and weak male leaders. Now, I'm not going down the road of like we need Chads smacking women and asking for bacon and all. No, I'm not talking about that. But just weak, pathetic male leaders. I mean, I guess even female leaders too, but HR specifically, they are failed kindergarten teachers that couldn't hack it. They couldn't. Or they're bringing kindergarten into the workplace, right? I know a lot of guys, it's like, look, man, I'm there to just do my job and leave. You know, I don't want to join the company book club. Let's have a book club. Let's meet for, let's do a plant exchange. Oh, joy. Yes. Yeah, because every adult male wants to do a plant exchange, right? Okay. Are you fucking kidding me? Like, what? But then if you don't partake in these things, it's your fault. You're the one. You're the one with the issue. Because you don't want to embrace the company culture. Okay. It's my fault. Hey, thanks for all the hard work around here. Thanks for improving profits for our multi-million-dollar company. Here's your slice of pizza. Thanks. Now get back to your fucking cube and keep drinking from your little hamster bottle there. Oh, you want to take a break? Haven't you already had two 15-minute breaks? We're watching. We're watching. That's office life. Tell me that doesn't sound like greatness. Beta male leaders that won't stand up for their team, that won't take care of their team, because at the end of the day, they don't care about anybody else but themselves. All they're trying to do is just move up the corporate ladder, right? Rules for thee, but not for me. If you're in the cool kids club, you can do whatever you want. You can leave early, come in late, and that's okay. It's not. This isn't for you. This is for them. Those peasants at their half cubes. This is for them. Us with offices with the doors that close. Yeah, we don't have to. No. You understand movies like Falling Down and things of that nature. So But that's why escapism is so important. And that's why for the past, what? I don't know, 5, 6 years, 7 years, hell, 10 years, you've had that culture war shit going on where people are pushing back because you turn to these movies and TV shows to get the fuck away from all that nonsense. You try, and then, oh, well, now I see it in my movies. You know, I got some 20-year-old little girl in HR who's never worked a job in their life, but got the job because of someone that they know and they're related to, telling me what I need to do, even though I've been there for like 8 or 9 years. And I know my job inside and out. And I'm teaching them on how to do things. Yet they get to do whatever they want and tell me what to do.
Gen Z boss and a mini. Gen Z boss and a mini. Itty bitty titties and a bulb. Itty bitty titties and a bulb. 5'3" and an attitude. 5'3" and an attitude. Secret product in a trench. Secret product in a trench.
Oh, somebody kill me, please.
So then I just want to come home and watch, like, I don't know, a badass superhero movie or something. And what do we have? The little female that knows everything and is stronger than the superhero and talking down to everyone. It's like, get the fuck out of here. You know what I mean? Like, that was the whole argument. But so that's why this podcast, at least for me, is so important. Because I get to revisit some greater times when I was a kid. Because in the 90s growing up, it was awesome. And somebody who I think has been overlooked for quite a while, and a very long time, even myself, I have to admit, is Tom Green. I don't think a lot of people realize how influential and Tom Green has been to culture, pop culture. Like, he set the standard for so many people, and so many people copied him. Like, we wouldn't have so many things today if it weren't for Tom Green. And that's not an exaggeration. So, and the only reason why this even dawned on me and remembered it is he just came out with a documentary on Amazon Prime. And I watch documentaries every now and then, depending on what they are. And I was like, I like Tom Green. And I was bored, and I threw it on. And it reminded me of so many things, and like it was like a light bulb. And he did this documentary himself, which I thought was kind of weird. This is the Tom Green documentary. And he did it himself. And I was like, well, most of the time people are doing documentaries about others. You don't document your own stuff. But yeah, I mean, it was a great video, or a great TV show, little mini series or whatever. Highly recommend you check it out if you have the opportunity. And it really reminded me, at least, all the things that he did, the show, and then he had that talk show that he came out with, and then all the movies that he did. And he was just a pioneer in so many levels. And it was just a really great reminder of just what he was able to do, especially back then. But one of the greatest things, like I said, to start off with, was the TV show. The TV show was hilarious, dude. He was an absolute lunatic back in the day. You know, I mean, all the TikTokers and the stupid shit they do today, right? Like, Tom Green did some crazy shit, and he wasn't that insanely disrespectful, right? Like, he didn't do anything to... He crossed lines, but to a point. But the Tom Green Show had some of, like, the best bits. And like I said, if it wasn't for him, some of these other shows wouldn't even existed. Jackass. I watched some of the Tom Green Show bits that I, like, again, going down memory lane, seeing some of these things, and I'm like, holy shit, Jackass stole that right from Tom Green. Eric Andre, his show on Adult Swim, destroying his set, right? That, like, Tom Green did that first. He started that. I mean, so many people, their careers and how they are were essentially what Tom Green did way back in the day. And it's just awesome to kind of go back down memory lane and revisit those bits. One of the bits that he did on his show was Undercutter's Pizza, which I thought was awesome. So if you've never seen it, the concept was he would follow a pizza guy to wherever he was going to go deliver pizza, and then he would show up with his own pizza and try to undercut the competition. So he had a fucking full-size pizza and a like tackle box full of toppings. He's like, oh, yeah, you ordered the pizza? Like, once they got there and he followed the guy, he's like, oh, what'd you order? Extra cheese? Well, and he would take the toppings out, put them all on, and then say, all right, what are you charging him? I'll charge you whatever. And, of course, the guy wanted nothing to, the person who was buying the pizza wanted nothing to do with it. And Tom Green was a lunatic, man. That was one thing about him. He did not care at all. He had no shame. He wasn't shy. He just did crazy shit. And he just kept pushing and pushing and pushing. And the guy, I don't even know where they were. I think that he was doing all those bits in Cannes at the time. But he basically, the guy just like grabbed a hammer and was like, I don't give a fuck. Get this shit off my product. I don't want your fucking pizza. And he's like, he kicked the tackle box and all this shit whenever it did. It was absolutely hilarious. And not only that, but some of these other bits too, he was the one who originated fucking with his mom and dad. And if you remember from Jackass, like that's what Bam Margera did. And that was the whole concept of his TV show that came out of Jackass is he would mess with Phil and the mother. Screw with his mom and dad where they were sleeping and everything. Well, Tom Green did all that first. One of the best bits out of that show was the Slutmobile, which if you don't know, like I said, if you don't know this, I tried looking it up. His show is not really able to be streamed. You could find some of it on YouTube, and I highly recommend it if you can. But the Slutmobile was absolutely hilarious. What he did was he basically took his parents' car while they were sleeping in like 3 a.m. in the morning and went and got a like pornographic scene airbrushed onto the hood of the car. So that when his dad woke up in the morning, came out, saw the scene airbrushed on, and he was just like in utter disbelief, like, this better be washable. This better come off. And his dad was so furious, but like a calm fury, because that like Canadian, you know, very polite and everything. And he just like walks off and he's like, I'm going to work. I'm walking to work. And he walked to the bus stop. So, and you know, Tom was like, Dad, don't you like this? These ladies are in love. This is, you know, don't you love this? This is awesome. This is just to represent, you know, a loving nature. And I thought really you thought you would like this. And then he was doing the same thing with the mom. The mom was losing her shit in a nice, calm way. But the way to end the bit was hilarious. Is he goes, well, Dad didn't want to take the car, so let's take the car to Dad at the bus stop and give him a ride to work. And he pulls up to the bus stop, and the bus stop is full of people. I mean, even kids are there, you could tell in the background. And you could see his dad just like, oh, my fucking God. He's like, Dad, don't you want to take the Slutmobile? Don't. This is great. These women are in love. We should celebrate this. This is amazing. And everyone at the bus stop is laughing, dude. I know my parents would not be as calm, especially their car. Dude, I would have gotten my ass absolutely kicked. And again, not only just that, but Johnny Knoxville being the old man, right? And going into the store like he'd practice stealing. Tom Green did that first, not the stealing bit, but he went in there like with a motorized scooter and started crashing into everything in the grocery store and shit was falling everywhere. Tom Green, man, was the absolute man. He was so funny and hilarious. And the thing about him was, besides, like I said, him doing it first, but what I learned while watching this documentary is he edited himself, he did it all himself, and that's what he realized while he was doing the editing, that like, oh, the funny part of this is the reactions. And the best part was when he would screw with the people. When he screwed with the people, that was awesome. That was so funny. The old people, like I remember, I think to this day in the documentary, he said people still ask him about this one bit, but he goes up to this older guy and he's like, where are you going? And the guy gets like, oh my God, like his head explodes. He's like, what do you mean where I'm going? It's none of your business where I'm going. Where are you going? Like, and he just starts fucking flipping out on he tries to grab the microphone and everything. And dude, I remember this, and this was so influential because me and my brother did this kind of stupid shit when we were kids. I will never forget this. When we started watching all this stuff and Jackass and all that, of course we were like, well, if they could do it, we could do it. The difference was we didn't record it. We should have, but we didn't. We took black thread. We thought this was a genius idea. Black thread. And we would wrap it around like ankle height, around like a tree, and then around like the gate that's in front of people's houses. And then we would hide behind cars. And we would wait for people to walk past. And then they wouldn't trip enough. Like, they would trip, but not to the point of them falling. Like, they would trip. And the funniest shit, oh my God, I'll never, ever forget this to this day. We saw from like a block down this kid on rollerblades. Had to be like 8 or 9, these couple kids that were rollerblading, and they were flying down the sidewalk. Flying down. And we were like, oh, this is going to be perfect. So we did this, the thread, back and forth. I mean, it's super like guitar string tight, but we did it about like yay high on these kids. Like I said, they were probably like 9 or 10 or something like that. And we were hiding behind the car. And I remember that kid hit that thing and it just went, and his feet came up and landed. Oh my God, dude, that shit was so funny. We like about pissed our pants laughing. It was hilarious. I know it sounds terrible at the time, but that shit was fucking funny. We would put walkie-talkies in the trees, and as people would come by, we would like yell into the walkie-talkie like we were trolls or something and spook the shit out of somebody, or we would pre-play like a dog barking or something like that, and people would freak out. Like, we did all kinds of dumb shit. I remember my idiot brother, there's a Bone Thugs and Harmony like little skit in one of their albums where it's like, freeze, motherfucker, oh shit, and it's like gunshots. So his genius idea was to put the radio in the window on the top floor, turn the volume up as loud as possible, and play that during the middle of the day. And all you heard was like machine gun fire. Fucking people started freaking out. We got in trouble for that one. And yeah, that was a lot of it was because of Tom Green and Jackass and shit like that. So, and don't, trust me, I believe in karma. I've been paid back for all the dumb shit that I've done. All that kind of dumb shit. Oh, I paid for it one way or the other. So it's not like I got off scot-free. But yeah, I mean, I think it was so influential in kids just doing dumb shit. And it was just, I remember, it was hilarious. His skits on the show were great. But not only that, like I said, I didn't know this either about Tom Green, but the reason why he stopped the show, number one, he blew up and got so famous. Total Request Live, if you guys remember that one, the Bum Bum song, which that song was fucking beyond stupid. It's beyond stupid, right? I think it was like, what, 98? Something like that? Where Total Request Live, it was like number 1, and it was Eminem was showcasing the song, or it was mentioned in one of his songs. And I remember going to Total Request Live when I was a kid. But I was, at the time when I went to that one, Jewel had just come out with like a new album, if you remember who the hell that is. And I got a free album from it. They were giving out free CDs. It's somewhere, and I remember it has TRL, like the sticker was on there. That's a pretty cool experience. But yeah, I mean, he was everywhere. And I didn't realize that because of how famous he got, they shipped him out to California because he couldn't do skits anymore in New York City because people knew who he was, and as soon as they saw the cameras, it was over. But then he had cancer. I remember that. He had testicular cancer. And she made a joke about that, which was, but the recovery of that was really hard on him, and that's kind of why he stopped the show. I thought he got canceled because right after he left, that's when they picked up like Jackass and all these other shows sprung out of nowhere. But he took a break. He married Drew Barrymore, which was, she was hot back then. He was in Charlie's Angels. I forgot that he was in that movie. And that's when his movie career started kicking off. I forgot how good Road Trip was. Road Trip's really funny. And Tom Green, he's not really in a major role of that, but he was pretty good. And there was a couple that was Stealing Harvard. He was really good in Stealing Harvard. I have to rewatch that because that was a funny movie. And those, you can't make movies like that anymore. Oh my God. I watched at least Road Trip. And the shit they say in that movie, I can't even say on YouTube. They'll demonetize me. So, and that's what I loved about it back in the day. It's like nobody cared. Nobody, I mean, even if you got offended, no one gave a shit. And that's what I miss. I hope we can get back there one day, but I have a feeling it'll never go back to the way it was. But then he came out with his own movie, Freddy Got Fingered. And listen, I'm one of the few that I really like that movie. Is it fucking crazy over the top? Yeah, it's crazy over the top. But that's who Tom Green was, man. There's so many good moments of Freddy Got Fingered. So many, like, quotable scenes from Freddy Got Fingered. The whole "Daddy, would you like some sausage" scene when he's got the sausages hanging from the screen and he's playing the fucking keyboard. And the relationship of him with his dad was so good. The guy who, I can't think of the actor's name. I'm bad with names anyway. You know this by now. The actor who played the dad and him hit it off because the dad was such a disgruntled, pissed off dad. And he was tired of his son and his son's bullshit. And Tom Green being Tom Green. "Daddy, would you like some sausage? Daddy, would you like some sausages? Daddy, would you like some sausage?" Like that shit. The backwards man when he's got the fucking suit on. He's just, when he's was he on a date and he's on the cell phone. He's like, $1 million. You just lost. You're fucking fired. Like, dude, I remember crying, laughing to that scene, dude. That shit was so funny. The girl who was in the wheelchair, right? And she can't, like, her kink was him beating her legs with fucking bamboo. Dude, that shit was fucking funny, man. What else was there? The umbilical cord scene when he's biting on the umbilical cord after she gives birth and he's tugging on it like a doctor. I was like, "Oh, I'll deliver your baby." Oh my God, dude. Like, that movie is so insane over the top. So many decent people in that movie too. Same thing with Road Trip. I forgot like how many decent actors were in there and actors that kind of like disappeared. Stifler was in that, which he was in Goon, and I don't remember his name. Again, terrible with names, but man, those movies were so good. And what sucks is I didn't know that, number one, that he wrote and directed it at the time. Freddy Got Fingered. I didn't know that he did his own stunt. The one scene where he ships the house to, like, was it Afghanistan? Because the dad always said, like, "I'm going to send you to Afghanistan to make soccer balls or whatever." And he ships the whole house over there. Well, when the house comes crashing down and Tom Green goes through the window, that he did his own stunt. I didn't know that. I had no idea. So that was pretty cool to learn. But, yeah, I love that movie. I thought it was funny. And I haven't seen it in a while, so I'm going to have to actually rewatch it soon. But... I'm the number one son, Freddy. Did you get a LeBaron, Freddy? Did you get a LeBaron? Because I got a LeBaron. And he did a bunch of gross shit, too. Don't get me wrong. There's a lot of stuff that Tom Green did with, like, the milking the cows on the show that was like, ugh. Like, did a lot of disgusting stuff. But, you know, he also did mainly funny stuff, too. But then he had a great, like, talk show. He interviewed a lot of people, and he was good at it. And he was still really funny. Another thing that I did not know nor remember was if it wasn't for Tom Green, Joe Rogan wouldn't be where he's at today. Like, he sparked the idea of the podcast. He created it. He started doing all of it at home. And I remember, like, it's in the documentary, but if you actually go back and watch that episode, you could see the wheels turning in Joe Rogan's head, and he's like, there's got to be money in this. Like, I can make this into a thing. And this was the light bulb moment for Joe Rogan, because shortly after he started doing his podcast, and of course at first it was nothing, but then over time it just picked up and went crazy. And now you know where he's at today. But I had no idea that like that was the start. I completely forgot that. I mean, I remember a very young Joe Rogan being on it, but I didn't know that was like Tom Green did that. Because like I said, Tom Green at one point after his talk show kind of like not failed, but he wasn't doing it on like a budgeted production there. He started doing it through the internet at home in his house in L.A. And that's where Joe Rogan was like, oh, this is on the internet, because this is when the internet was really taking off. And he could just do it whenever he wants. He was doing it at night. He was doing it whenever. And so Tom Green essentially created the podcast. He created all this. Like, he started all this. So the guy's done so much for so many people. And he just kind of got left behind, you know? I know a lot of people still like him out there, but no one talks about him anymore. And like I said, watching all that stuff, that documentary, and just revisiting a lot of his skits that he did, that was the best part for me. If you like this video, hit that like button. If you're new here and you like this kind of stuff, hit the subscribe button. You could check out some of my old podcast episodes by becoming a member, 99 cents a month, just to support the channel a little bit. Like I said, I'm trying to build things up. And, yeah, otherwise, I'll catch you guys next time. See ya.